I have not been this excited for a GoPro update in years, my friend, but GoPro just dropped the version 2.30 firmware for the Hero 12, and I think it's a safety thing that they've improved, at least for me. So stick with me, we're gonna talk about the update for this and the update for the remote in today's video. Welcome back to the channel, my friend. This is Road Reality, and we're in the porch tonight because I gotta get this out, and I don't have time to go doing other stuff, but I did test it, and this update works. What does it fix? How do you update it? We're gonna cover all that in this video. Now, normally this camera lives on my helmet here in the media mod. So it's mounted right here, and it's not easily accessible, right? In fact, it can be kind of a kludge to reach up and push buttons on it, and I usually end up hitting the back screen and screwing something up. I get it, but this issue really concerns you if you have multiple cameras, because GoPro's The Remote controls up to 5, count them, 5 GoPros at once. I've tested that. I did a video here. It was a lot of fun, but I had to manually start stuff because the Hero 12 didn't connect right. Anyway, neither here nor there anymore, because what was happening was if you were in a multicam setup like this with 2 cameras, 2 GoPros, when you turn on the remote and you connect to them, if you use the remote to turn off the cameras and then you use the remote to turn on the cameras, the 12 would turn on and promptly disconnect from the remote. Not good, right? There's a huge bug. And GoPro for 14 months as of this recording had not fixed it. In fact, they came out with the 13 and it had a similar issue. Well, they fixed that last week, so, you know, well, 2 weeks ago now, I'm looking at my clock. Now we have a remote that works with this, and I'm going to show you here in a minute that it does work. So this is version 2.30 of the firmware for the Hero 12, and what I like to do is power my cameras on, so I'm going to do that. There's the 12, there's the 10, they're going to fire up. I'm going to put them in one hand so that you can see them in action. There's the screens, right? And then I press the button on top of the remote and it's going to come on. You can see it powering up. And it's version 2.0.1. Spoiler alert, GoPro kind of slid in a slight update for the remote firmware with the Hero 12 firmware. So then it's going to be searching. It's still searching. And now it came up with multicam, right? So we're going to press the button, and then it's going to connect to both cameras. It takes a few seconds. It really does. It's just going to work itself out. Now you can see on my screen, ta-da, 2 cameras. So you could easily start recording. You can see the screens now. They're both recording. See the tally lights? The red tally light. Come, Mr. Talisman, tally me banana. Then I stop recording. And they beep. They're, you know, done recording. Hold the side button, the bottom side button here. It turns the cameras off. This is where the problem used to be. Now, when I go to turn them back on, yep, the screen says multicam ready. You can see there, I think. If I hold it up, there we go. Push the side button, and it's going to turn them both on. This is where the Hero 12 would disconnect from the remote. However, it still says it's connecting. It takes a second. There we go. 2 cameras. So I've held these visible the whole time, haven't I? I'm looking at the preview screen to make sure everything's in frame. But they're recording now. So they're doing a good job. Problem solved. This is awesome. I love it. And I don't normally do kind of the in-depth camera stuff here on this channel, but as a motovlogger, I see this as a safety issue. I mentioned it earlier. The eyes and mind of a motorcyclist should be on the road at all times. If you're a motovlogger and you're worried about your camera battery level, because idling these things, you get an hour and a half to 2 hours of runtime if you're recording little bits here and there. But if you could, say, ride for an hour and just have the cameras off and not worry about it, then you'd be better off, right? Because turn them off, right? I don't need them anymore. These props are done. You would be able to save on the battery swaps, like I said, and not worry about, you know, either recording a bunch of stuff or letting the cameras idle while you ride along. So I think that's a huge safety issue, and I personally am glad and say thank you, GoPro, for finally fixing this. Let's do the update real quick. Over on GoPro's update website, you can see it's got a few usability improvements, especially if you use quick capture or if you're doing live streaming. But there's this bug fix. They talk about fixing the issue with the remote. So in my case, I have Windows, but here's your manual update stuff. I don't recommend using the phone to do the update because I like to have a backup just in case the camera gets fouled up by the update, which happens occasionally. It does. Nobody's infallible. But if you have a backup, you can easily restore that firmware later on if you need to. So back onto the website, we have our manually updating the GoPro. You're going to click download update. It'll ask you to save it. You do that. And then you open up your folder where all of your updates are, right? I have an archive of all my updates. Good times. Now, if you right click on a zip file and say extract all, it will come up with another window where you can specify where to extract it all to. But what it's going to do is it's going to create this update folder with 3 files in it. Okay. These are older ones, but it's just going to be a newer date for you. Same file names. You take that whole folder and you copy that onto your SD card. Now, how do you do that? Well, if you follow the link in my video description below to get the SD card I use, it comes with an adapter. I can only guess that people have an adapter at this point. The GoPro's been around so long. But it takes the micro SD card, little tiny guy, right? And puts it into an adapter that should fit into your computer. If I could slot it back in, there we go. Gotta keep it safe, right? Once it's in your computer, File Explorer will open up a window. You can copy that update folder into the base folder of that drive, pop it out, put the micro SD card back in your camera, fire it up, it'll do the update. If it doesn't, you can try the phone app or leave a comment below. I'll try to help you out. But that is how you do the update, and it works. I am so excited to get my workflow back on track where I can ride all day and use one battery or one set of batteries, so 2 usually, maybe 3 or 4. I mean, it's a really big thing. If you don't have to reach around and hit cameras on helmets and handlebars and who knows where else, because, you know, I see a number of people putting GoPros on their saddlebag guards and stuff, and I've done it too. You know, if you don't have to worry about it, it's one less thing to clutter your mind while you're supposed to be riding. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, boop the like button. Maybe you'll consider subscribing. Go check out this video next, which YouTube thinks you'll like, and I'll remind you of the 2 mantras. Maybe you'll subscribe to that video. 1, you have a 100% track record of making it through a bad day, and 2, do something nice for yourself every day. Maybe it's updating your GoPro so that your workflow is fixed. Bye.